Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure in history, and today we're going to take a look at a, I believe, 1923 colonial revival house right here behind me. An absolutely amazing house back here that I have been seeing for years and always wanted to check out. And I am here with my friend John, who is going to let us look at the house today, and he's going to tell you who he is, but I think we're going to step in out of the rain first.
Let's come on in then. Afternoon.
Wow.
I'm John Daniel. I'm with Bromo Realty. This is our friend Mac Murrow's listing with M&M Real Estate. And this is a 1920s revival house. This has got a lot of unique details. We'll kind of show them to everybody, point some things out, the details of construction and the way things were done back then versus now, and try and highlight some of those differences. So I'll let Robert take over and we'll start walking around and let you look at this.
And so this house is obviously for sale. I will leave a pinned comment down there that has a link to the listing. Of course, if you're watching this video in the future, it's probably already been sold, but this is amazing. Let's start taking a look.
So this is our, I guess you call it your living room area. You come in through the front door and it's got a lot of peeling paint right now because of this plaster, which unfortunately, because it hasn't been lived in, has gotten moisture from the summers here. There's got this really nice old mantelpiece here, some nice detailing. They've started trying to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
It's not overly detailed, but some nice little detail work from what would have been considered a, you know, just a upper middle class house when it was built. Now the fireplace is deep enough. I believe that they actually had this as a wood burning part of the fireplace. Upstairs, when we go to the bedroom, you'll notice that it's coal. And I'll show you how that works. But at some point in time, we have this room, which would have been originally open for a porch that has been closed in and worked in. You can tell kind of that detail as an addition. Right here in the floor, you can see the floors don't quite match up and there's this hard seam. So that tells us at one point in time, this was an exterior door that sealed off this room. But of course, people get older, they want more room in the house, they get more money, they make another room.
Right.
So we get a little sunroom here.
And that's what's always so neat. Anytime we're walking through an old house, is you can see all of the different changes in it, all the additions, and there's some of the molding right there.
Yeah, they did save some of that. That old pine work, you can see the grain in it. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Let's see. Let's go to this side of the house. See a little bit more.
I love this big open doorway here too.
Oh, yes. Of course, you can see on the hinge side here, there originally would have been a double door to close off the dining room from the living room, so you could eat your dinner and somewhat privacy.
Yeah.
Plus, it would have helped keep the heat in during the winter time. You would be able to have your fireplace and heat that side of the house and let this side be cool. Because as a dining room, you wouldn't use it as much. And now this used to be another either porch or could have been like a pull-under canopy for a car or horse and carriage. But they've converted it and added on to make an actual bedroom back here. This would have been another bedroom. They put a door over there at some time. But this flooring is not the same as the other.
Yeah.
You see the original woodwork here. You know, they've got these literal 2x4
Right.
post with the old wood lattice, and then the brown coat, which is the cement that you see here, and then you put the plaster on top of. But yeah, you don't see a lot of notched construction nowadays like that for running beams.
No.
And you know, it goes straight up through here. You can see how far it goes up. And
Oh yeah.
they just notched that in there so they could add, you know, this other floor part of the roofing and stuff. So they reuse some of the old boards, but not all of them. And that's newer wood
Right.
here for it. And you can see part of the old ceiling for that porch there. And you know it was a porch because it's the wood slats.
Yeah.
That would be weatherproof. So that tells us it was outside.
And that's great.
Some of the old stuff here, you can see this is all newer timbers. So this is all new construction. I say newer, like post probably 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. It's got this type of old copper wiring
Yeah.
from the latter 60s, early 70s. So this not an extremely old edition, but not original.
Do you know any of the history of this house?
I really don't. I wish I did. That this plumbing back here, this is part of the original plumbing for the house. I was going to get down and tell about how old this cast iron is here.
Right.
How they added to make the new sink to the kitchen. But it is some really old plumbing, and it's still connected. You can see where the cement is kind of melded to it, to that plumbing. And this is the original outside wall that they scabbed onto to make the flooring for the bedroom. Of course, they added in new parts. And this right here would have been a window
Yeah, sure enough.
to the kitchen, or the original kitchen. And as we come on over, there's another part here. This is a part of a chimney, the back side of a chimney that goes into the kitchen. And there's a gas fireplace in there that they've retained it to, but definitely you can see, you can tell this is the back side of how the mortar is just slapped in there. It's just all over.
Right,
Not
yeah.
up at all.
Absolutely.
And there's one of the braces for the original structure here. So they put a small diagonal in there to kind of give the structure a little bit of stability. And this was added on later. You can see how much better condition this cast iron pipe is compared
Right.
to that one over there. So this was added in, and they made a bathroom in this corner. We've got a spot for a toilet. There's what looks to be a tub or shower connection, and on that wall over there is where a sink would have been, or a lavatory, and it all runs underground and comes back. But a lot of these are going to have to be fixed.
Yeah.
You can see where the roof had some leaks before and kind of came through, and a lot of it, they put a new roof on there. I don't know if you can get over there with the camera. You can see up in the...
Oh yeah, I see it.
This house, they've actually gone and put a brand new roof on the house, so they've put some work in here to stabilize the structure and keep it from deteriorating by doing that, which is really helpful to anybody that's wanting to, you know, look at doing work here again.
Absolutely. I certainly know from experience the roof is the most important part, getting a good roof.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a quick peek. It's kind of a tradition to take a look under the house. It's always pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, wow.
Some parts to the old gas line.
Yeah. That's neat. It's lower than a lot of the old houses that I see. Closer to the ground, kind of interesting. Of course, you know, a lot of these. This is probably, you know, this house is 100 years old,
Yep.
and is newer than what I usually film, you know. So it's kind of neat to see the differences and also lots of similarities too.
There are. It's very different because this in-town home, which would have been kind of on the outskirts in the 20s of Columbus still, here in Overlook, they would have a bit better foundation. A lot of the older homes that you're talking about, a lot of them used field stones.
Yes.
For foundation work, and unfortunately a lot of those field stones over time would start to break down still.
Right.
They're not really strong.
Yeah, and the mortar.
The rocks here are just not that good. The igneous rocks that we got, they're
right.
kind of fragile. And with all that weight on there, eventually that pressure crumbles them.
Yeah.
It causes what we see as sagging and parts of the house settling on more than others. But the use of bricks here for everything really helps keep a lot of it more stable.
Yeah.
Than the houses you're talking about.
For sure. And the old style mortar too that we see in a lot of the older houses where it's just, you know, sand and
yep.
lime.
It's a sink from renovations probably back in the 60s, early 70s. That would match the addition out there where they closed in that window.
Yeah.
Of course, these are not the original cabinets here for the kitchen, but I think this is probably original.
Beautiful piece.
They've, somebody started cleaning it up some.
Yeah.
I believe this is some of the original brass hardware that's on there. That is true brass. Yeah, it's unique for sure.
Wow.
Over here we have the other part of the kitchen where they've redone this fireplace. I don't know when this fireplace was put in, but you really can't see it outside, so I don't know if it's vented outside or not that well. But they converted it to a gas because there's a gas burner in it, so
Gotcha.
they had some gas logs in there at some point in time. And they were doing some work back here, and they've got some scaffolding and stuff. Where the stairs go up, and they have a mechanical room where they've stuck heating and air unit, which they wouldn't have had in the 20s when this was originally built.
Right.
And then the back porch, which has been closed in and made into, laundry rooms and stuff like that, which is back here. This is the next part of the house. Bathroom and a little closet over here. This which is really nothing. It had an old lock to it, but long gone the usage of it. The plumbing from the old closet. And this old 1920s tile, man. You still saw this stuff all the way up into the 50s. This little hexagon tile, everybody loved it for bathrooms.
That's great.
It worked well. All kind of old plumbing, like this old galvanized piping. Nobody, we stopped using that long ago for plumbing usage.
Right.
And you can actually see in here, oops, there's one right here, one of the wire guides for the old wiring for the house. Here's where they spliced a little bit. And it comes up, and it would go through, and on the, where did it go? Oh, it's over here. You see where it runs over where they had the original lights coming out. The wires come through, and you can still see the porcelain, which come on this side, through the wall. You can see the little porcelain standoffs that insulated the wire from the wood. Very, very old. Very old. Of course, there's another bathroom over us. They got to have some work. Yeah, they've taken out this ceiling so they could get to the other parts of that bathroom up there and start doing some work on it. I don't know when this tub was made. I don't think this is the original tub, but it could be, because I have not seen that design before.
Yeah, it's definitely an older tub. And look at all the, I'll let you hold the light for just a minute. You see all the cracking in the porcelain or whatever that kind of shows its age there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I think that is an old tub. That is too cool.
Be the original tub.
I think so.
It
That is great.
lots of little small hairline fractures throughout it.
Yeah. So do we go this door or straight?
This door won't open, but we can go
gotcha.
to the next one.
Okay.
And a little, small little hallway, which is odd, but I'm guessing there was a door maybe here at some point in time that's been closed off.
Yeah.
Seeing how there's a gap in the, I think it probably went to the kitchen at one time, because I think most houses, these houses, the central hallway was used as like a air vent.
Right,
Get
exactly.
airflow through the house for cooling. They didn't have air conditioning, so you gotta have to cool it somehow.
That's right. And
The breezeway.
that's what a lot of people don't know or appreciate is that a lot of these old houses, per their original design, were designed to be cool and be warm.
Because in the South especially, we had lots of heat and not a lot of cold.
Absolutely.
Heating was a lot easier than cooling,
That's right.
with no electricity for sure. This is where they're doing some work upstairs where this got it. They're trying to stabilize it and keep it from getting worse. Probably gonna have to replace most of this wall section here, but they have got it stabilized. They have the new roof up there to keep the water from getting in to cause more damage.
That's great.
But this would have been one of the original bedrooms. Probably the master bedroom, since it has a door that goes into that bathroom.
Right.
But if you'll notice, looking around, there's only one teeny tiny closet.
Yeah.
Closets were not a big thing back then, but that's how you can tell this was a nicer home, because it does have a closet.
Yeah.
And if you look in there, you can actually see there's a shoe rack for shoes on this side. I'll let you walk over there towards it just a little bit, and you'll see a little built-in shoe rack there.
That's great.
A little catch for the heel of the shoe to get on there. Yeah, lots of old details. Like all of this molding is rounded. All the edges of it, all of it. You want something you don't see. Most of it's squared off. Here's what the original catch looked like for these closet doors. And all it is just one little catch to let that keep the door from springing open. Or just a little storage room under the stairs. Beaded paneling.
That's a neat detail in here that they if I can speak, beaded board.
Yep.
Right there. Banisters, beautiful.
Yeah, they're simple, but they're well done, and a little bit of the egg tail.
Yeah, it would be amazing to see that stripped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because these were originally all this dark stain.
Yeah.
You can actually see underneath it the staining that would have been there through the paint that's been put on. Lots of coats of paint.
Yeah. Man, all these stairs incredible.
They are. And then this would be, originally this would have been a summer sleeping room.
Yes.
Open up all the windows, get as much air through here as you can. They would try and do this because in that hallway there, you can see there's a great big hole in the center of the main house, and that's why this is where the big roof, and on the ends are great big gables to let air out. They try and get as much air to come up and out as you can, and this is where you try to sleep to cool off as much as you can, get as much air as you can through here.
Right.
Of course, once you start air conditioning everything, you put windows in it.
Right.
try to keep the cool air in.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and at the time this was built, of course, those were fields back there, trees and fields. You'd have a nice forest view out there. But now we're in the middle of a built-up modern city, and
right,
we have our neighbors. But it's still a nice view.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great place. Speaking of your central hallway, which is, you try to get air coming up from the bottom and through here to go out and exit out through the roof and get as much of your hot air out of the house as quick as possible. So as your hot air goes up, try and get as much cool air in.
And I just look down at the floors up here. I mean, these are just going to be beautiful.
Yep. They're nice. These are old pine. You can see through the grain of it here. These haven't been painted on, so you can see the grain of the pine wood. Old heart pine. This is old growth. You see how thick those grain patterns are in here?
Yeah.
That's good wood. And this is where they're shoring up and trying to keep this protected. But you can see the new roof through the hole there where they've gone through. They've got a new joist in there. They've got plywood, trying to get this rain and keep it out.
Right.
Of course, you can see up through there a little bit.
Oh, cool.
The upstairs there's an old pulley, part of the pulley system that would open and shut louvers in your grate there. They would have louvers that, when you wanted air out, you'd open it up, and in the wintertime, you close them so that you keep your heat in as much as possible.
That's neat.
And you can see some of that new roofing material up there. What they've done. So that goes into.
You know what this is, John? What is that?
That.
Oh, it's
a timer. Usually one of these timers would be for your fan up in the attic. You would turn it on and it would run, and the fan would run for however long. This was probably installed in the probably 40s or 50s.
Gotcha.
Along with a fan up there, and they put electricity in for the first time, running stuff. I don't know, they ran some wiring in it, so it probably had electricity when they started, but you had very few places where electricity. You had some outlets in the rooms for a light, the ceiling fan, and maybe a couple of outlets in each room for the bedrooms for a light. But that was about it. You didn't have outlets everywhere like we have now, that's for sure. The upstairs they had a bathroom here that was shared with everybody. Had 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms up here, plus the one downstairs that they added on later. So there's a lot of rooms in this house.
Yeah, there are.
This one at some point was updated. Looks like they're in the 70s again. That early 70s update that they did. A lot of the old galvanized piping and plumbing that's in here. Some of it's been cut off. We don't know when or where or how they did it, but looks like they had a nice big corner tub over here. Those big garden tubs, I guess, had little steps you can step on it.
Yeah.
There. I guess they had the sink over here, and the toilet there. So somebody had a very nice new place. This is definitely not original, but you can tell it's a lot simpler construction.
Right.
So this was added on a lot later from the original house. But I don't know if you can see the old hardware on them. And of course, it has a very old and simple lock. And that's it.
Nice. And I got to love this window right here.
custom-made arched window. I'm pretty sure that one of the local millwrights made this place, or made the windows. I believe Harvey Lumber Company was around, and there's several other independents that were doing this. But you can see up in the corner, they had originally framed it out square. Right. They came back, once they had the window, they said, "Oh, we got this size opening and I want an arch window." So they made a window to fit that opening size, and just brought in and put in.
That's a fantastic window. And you tell the age of the glass, it's still got wavy glass.
Yeah, it's got the old weight system in it. We would build these, you put the weights in there, and then you run the rope, and then you put your wood and you close it up, and your pulleys and everything. Old stuff. These were added later, but still very nice.
Yeah, it is.
Very nice.
And then we got to love this.
This is your coal burning fireplace here. This is, don't know where it was made. I couldn't find a manufacturer's signature, but got a lot of ornate cast iron work here with little roses and fleuries, little torches on each side. Now, this would be your coal box, and I know it's coal because, one, it's very shallow. It's only about 10 to 12 inches deep. Very, very narrow. You don't want to try and build a fire with wood in it. You'll smoke out your room. But the coal would be put in the top here, and the bottom down here. See how narrow these are? As your coal would burn, it burns from the bottom to the top. You would just take a little fire poker and kind of rake along the bottom here, drop your ashes, and get your ashes out each day and put new coal on top. And as you could actually keep it going. Gosh, if you use the an Amorite coal, it's that shiny coal. If you filled it up, you could probably get for about 2 pounds of coal, you'd probably get about 8 hours of burn time.
Wow.
Now, it wouldn't provide tons of heat in here because it is a fireplace, and fireplaces aren't terribly efficient, but a lot better than wood.
Yeah.
So long as you had enough oxygen coming through here. Oxygen need fresh air, so you couldn't just close up all the doors and windows real tight because carbon monoxide still was a big thing, and you'd have to make sure you had plenty of it. Otherwise, like wood, it would smoke if you let it. But that is a coal burning fireplace with the original cast iron inset.
You got the summer cover here too.
Yep. It's very nice. I was trying to find a manufacturer's number, but there's no number for it that I can find. Just a 259 is the only thing I can find. But I wish I could find a manufacturer on there. I would love to know where it was made.
Right.
It was manufactured here in Columbus, at one of the foundries. There were a couple of foundries in Columbus here that could have done it, or could come out of Birmingham. That was another big manufacturer of these kind of cast iron stuff that we would get in the South.
Gotcha.
Closet in there. Another bedroom.
And same type of arched window in here too. Behind the plywood, yeah.
Since that's the front of the house, it would match up. And you can see, again, the new roof structure that they've done, where they've done repairs, and the new underlaying it.
That's great. And again, most important thing on an old structure is the roof.
Yeah, usually it's been raining now off and on all day. I haven't seen any leaks or anything, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
Very good sign.
So no fireplace on this side.
No fireplace on this side. At the time they ran gas in here, so there was probably originally an old gas heater. Just one of those little, I don't know what you call them. But it was just probably natural gas. Most of them used gas a lot of times by that time.
Now, is that just an old style of plug right there?
That would have been a old style air conditioner plug.
Okay.
That would have been running there for an old window unit. That was probably put in back in the 50s or 60s, probably when they did this, whenever they modernized, they probably ran it in here so you could, the old window units, they used a lot more power than what we do now.
Right.
They ran off a special plug. It's kind of like a double angle with a slot there. And that's normally a 220 plug.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't want to try and use that with a regular 110 appliance.
Right.
You won't like it. But yeah, you can see the new roof covering out here. They've got this new flat roof on. Well, they call it flat, but it's slightly sloped. There's really no water standing on it, which is excellent. That's very good. You don't want to see any water standing on a roof if you can help it.
I like the desk too at the window.
Yeah, a little built-in desk.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know if it's original or not, but it's quite old.
Yeah, it's a nice addition.
We have one more small room. I guess this would have been kids' room or something. It has a small door that goes to the other bedroom there.
It's interesting that it's got windows in this door.
Yeah, I'm not, at this point in time, I'm not sure if this was a bedroom or just like another porch type area. It's got a couple of windows in it, and one window's bigger than the other.
Yeah.
It's a little bit odd. I'm not quite sure what it is, or even if it was a bathroom or something. But I don't see any places for drains, but I see that there's something here. I don't know if this is, you know what, that might be an old radiator.
Oh.
It's got a galvanized pipe top and then one at the bottom there. They could have been running a radiator in here. This could have had a boiler with hot water radiator.
Interesting.
We'd have, I imagine if we had a plumber come look at it, they could probably run and go under the house. They would probably be able to tell us. Trace down some of this wiring and plumbing stuff.
Another little closet here. Oh, with the, again with the shoe rack.
Another shoe rack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big closet too, in this space.
It surely is.
And again, you can see the new roof
Yeah.
up there on top of the old,
Put new
purlins.
plywood over it.
Yeah, old purlins.
Good. And we have the old floor. Really cool stuff. A lot of interesting stuff here.
Absolutely amazing old house. It really is.
A lot of plaster work in this house.
Yeah.
Tons of plaster work. Really, I don't know how they did it. It was tons of work to do this when you're doing plaster.
Absolutely.
You have people come in and you've got to put concrete on all of the walls and smooth it down and get it fairly even, you know. And then you come back and you put the top coat on and get it smooth and slick, really.
Right.
That stuff is smooth as it can be when it's done right. Or if they put a texture on it, you know, for something. That is an art form to get.
It is.
These walls, I mean, you look at these walls and you think, oh, that's not all that great and smooth. I'm like, for doing this by hand, I think it's really amazing.
Absolutely.
Because you're not just trying to get it smooth on something flat. You're trying to get liquid stuff smooth vertically.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing what we've done with stuff. I think the rain stopped a little bit. Why don't we take a look outside?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just watch your head.
And I gotta say again, it's so neat to see a city house compared to so many of what, you know, we usually look at are old farmhouses, plantation houses, early settlement houses, and
Yeah.
it's a city house.
Yeah.
I love the arch over the door too. Isn't that great?
That's just pretty. So here we are back again outside and looking at the front with your classical, you know, matching front porch, your center hallway, which would have been your breezeway. And I love the big detailing up there in those dormers.
Absolutely.
Pretty. You probably have to move around this way to see on the chimney.
I just saw a little detail work.
The little detail up there, I haven't figured out quite what it is, but at some point in time they had a, I don't know if it's like a little rosette or something, but you can kind of see it over the roof there.
Yeah, sure enough.
And when you look at it now, you see the driveway that came in. So originally that was a portico to pull under. So that was probably just a porch on that side. And this was where you basically pulled in and you had a covered one-car carport.
Right.
They wouldn't have had, not very many people had garages. If you had a garage, it was detached.
Yeah.
Your garage was not attached to the house back then. I mean, unless you were ultra wealthy.
Right.
And then you would have a mansion, and that mansion would be 4 times this size.
Yeah. And this is, compared to what we usually see, looking at old structures, this is a mansion.
Yeah, but you can see from here, you see how much venting they have in that attic.
Yeah.
So they could get, so you try and get as much of that heat out of the house as possible, and get that air to go up and through and out, and back into the air. There's the old back chimney.
Look at the old brickwork here too. Those are, you can see the old bricks in here, and I guess this is some modern repairs probably right here. But looking out here, you can see just this really old style of brick.
There used to be a gate here, and you see where the old brick is, where it used to attach over there. It goes back along here, covered up by the ivy. Go back there, and that would have been your carport. And you can actually see, it looks like originally it was just a short one. You can see that they've added on to it at some point in time.
Yeah.
Tried to match it. They did a pretty close job.
Yeah, they did.
What they probably did is this section of deep dental work, this right here, was the original that they took off of this side, moved it out to this side, and then added on from here down, because you can see there's a slight difference in the finish of that dental work.
Right.
But you can tell where the original carport stopped, and then they added on later. Yeah. They did a good job of matching it, though.
Yeah, they did.
Turns around, we've got our addition now. Put in. This is where they were starting to do some new work. They put this scaffolding up so they could work on the roof and do roof work up here. And do a bunch of stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they put this in. I imagine they were trying to keep water from getting underneath into the crawl space area. And you see where somebody's run some fairly decent plumbing and duct work under there. I see it shining.
You see some kind of old, I don't know what it is, but what would that be?
See, it's got a, speaking of, that's probably part of the old boiler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about a boiler, so yeah.
Yep, that's probably part of the old heating system. And that's just a heavy duty iron right there, and it looks like there was some kind of a pressure valve or a dial or something.
Some kind of gauge.
Some gauges, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it was.
I need the light for that light's blending in and out. That's cool.
Well, that was, God, must have been a heavy thing to drag out from under there.
Right?
Glad I wasn't doing it.
I wonder how much land originally went with this house. You know, if it was just the lot that it is today, or if it's bigger.
Yeah, I can see that they've changed this doorway up. This was original breezeway here. You can see it used to be a double transom.
Yeah.
And they closed off half of it and just made, put in a modern sized door. Where the original door was a lot bigger, so they could get that air to blow through. And of course, they closed off the hall now. You don't need that when you put in air conditioning.
That's right.
No need for it, folks. AC is going to handle it.
That's it.
Lots of stuff back through here. More scaffolding where they've been doing work. Again, big open vents for those gables.
Yeah.
Get that air out of there.
I like the little room here. I love the columns on it, or the faux columns.
The faux columns.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, I mean, they actually included it inside. They carried it, there's columns inside.
Oh, really?
The detail actually transfers to the inside of the
Oh man, I missed that.
rooms there.
That's cool.
When you go back and look at the video later, you
That's right.
take a look at it and you'll notice it's in there.
That's right.
So everybody, rewind your video back to the beginning and take a look. See a little bit of that. You want to take a look under that way?
That's neat.
I still can't make out what that is.
Yeah, the design on the chimney.
I don't know if anybody will ever be able to tell it by now. It may have washed away from the years. They had some kind of little decoration there. We don't do that too much nowadays.
No. No, none of the design work that goes into the outside of the house is, I mean, like, all the work on the outside of the house is just so unique.
I mean, there's a lot of work that went into this brick. It goes, it's not a full brick wall over there anymore, but man, they built some brick wall, and I don't know how far back it went, the size originally. I mean, we could probably do some digging. I could look back through tax records and stuff and see when it was originally built how many acres went with it.
Right.
If it was a full acre, it may have just been part of a city lot that was subdivided up from a farm when they built this street, and they just had several lots put out. Yeah, it's seen some better days, but it's
still an amazing house.
A nice house. I'm glad to see that somebody's starting to put some work into it to preserve it. They've got this nice new roof. They've got it stabilized. Unfortunately, they can't continue the work. They have other things they got to do, but if somebody could take it over and finish it up, and I would love that.
Absolutely. I mean, he said it needs some work, but it'd be an amazing house when finished.
This is old brick. I love this. The way it feels, that patina on the brick.
Yeah, it is. What's interesting, so some of those bricks like this, these bricks must have come from, somewhere else, because that's an older brick than the 20s.
Yeah, those were bricks that were, because this is just a wall, those were probably clinkers and just throwaways from batches that weren't suitable for the actual house construction. Because back then, like a lot of stuff now, the manufacturing process of brick is a lot more consistent than it was back then.
Yeah.
You would get a higher yield now than you would back then of good brick versus bad. And a lot of times, I mean, from day to day, I mean, your manufacturing process would produce more what they call throwaways or clinkers, to use in walls. But I mean, they have a use.
Absolutely.
We put them in walls. We used them on the interior of foundations and stuff. Just because it didn't look the best didn't mean it wasn't useful.
Right.
You don't throw anything away. And I don't know if anybody noticed this, but there's a couple of lions here that, unfortunately, I think that's a lion. Yeah, I think that's the mane of a lion. Yeah, we got two lions here that unfortunately have been covered up over the years by some of the ivy, but
Well, those are great.
It's a nice thing. I really wish somebody could get it and fix it.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed seeing this amazing old house here. Again, it is currently listed for sale. I'll leave a link down in the pinned comment. And again, big thanks to John for bringing me out here.
You're welcome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. I love looking at these old houses and just seeing what they were made like. And each one of them's a little different, but there are common themes like the layouts,
right,
where the kitchens are, and how they get the heat out in the summer and try to stay warm in the winter.
Yeah.
I like trying to figure out, you know, based on different time periods, where stuff was made.
Right.
Was it produced locally, or did they ship? If they were really nice and well off, it was probably shipped in from somewhere like Birmingham or Atlanta, you know, where the big manufacturing. Some of it, I've seen stuff from New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was manufactured and shipped here. It was pretty rare. They were pretty well off people to do that. So you get a lot of interesting history when you go into these things.
For sure. And I think you said it best off camera when you said it's going in here, it's like detective work. We're trying to figure out
it's very much detective work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps when, you know, being in this for so long and having a construction background.
Yeah.
Lets you, at least gives me a little bit of a legs up on trying to figure out where or how some of this was done.
Absolutely.
But I love doing it.
Yeah.
Great seeing you guys, and thanks for doing all this to try and preserve some of this history.
Absolutely.
Get it before something happens to it.
Yeah, definitely.
This one, thankfully, looks like it's going to be saved.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of others that may not be, so appreciate that.